It was happening all 7th of July. So just, got back from DC, had a very, very, very good time. Also cruised up to Maryland, saw some of the folks out there at CR Maryland. Appreciate the hospitality, guys. Sander, Paige, team, all you guys, Brian, really great group of people got to hang out with up there. Also got to spend a lot of time with a good friend of mine. Not going to mention names just because he's within the agent for the government, and I have no idea what the protocol is for that kind of stuff. So it's best just keep my mouth shut about that. But I had an awesome time with you, man, and phenomenal 4th. I enjoyed every bit of it. So now getting into where things are at since then. Now I'm going to offer something that I offered to my team today. I got a little bit harsh about it. I just wanted to really kind of speak some directness. And I believe that directness is probably appropriate for everybody these days, because everybody can use a little bit of just kind of, I wouldn't say a slap in the face, but let's call it a slap in the face, right? So what we've got right now is a lot of people have reasons why stuff is not moving forward, right? The rates, the cost of things. There's always a deal to be had. You just got to open your eyes up, right? So we talk about what we had yesterday. We worry about tomorrow. It's like yesterday's gone, guys. Today is right now, and tomorrow is yet to be. It will be precisely what you want it to be. And if the scenario you envision it to be is basically like the crappy thing you feared, then blame yourself for that. That's because you sat there and thought about it and decided how things were going to be and end up coming about that way. If circumstances are always negative in the world, you're the one has to be blamed for that, period. The circumstances aren't as negative as you see them to be. It's all a matter of how you're seeing it. So you see what you want to see. And failure is to see the opportunity is 100% your fault. Failure to take a small sliver of opportunity and make it something bigger, your fault, period. If you come up with any sort of excuses, that's you try to silence a thing in your mind that's telling you what you should have done. Man, there's a lot of people got shouldas and wouldas and couldas and all that. Forget that crap. Change the way you look at things. Don't let circumstances tell you what's going on. You look at the circumstances, change your viewpoint, change your attitude, things will change. Massive opportunity out there right now, but so many people are caught up with the rates are higher. Who gives a damn? What else is there? There's more to it. That's why you need people like us, not people who sit there and scream rate and figure out what are we going to do with these rates. That doesn't matter. You need to get with the right people and get your mind right, and you will find the opportunities. You'll keep moving forward while the rest of them sit back there and lament shit that they can't control, that they have plenty of control over if you just change how you look at it, period. So that's my preaching for right now. Where are we at out in the market right now? If you look at CNBC, I'm going to share screen this. Scotty shot this over to me because, Scotty spends a lot of time looking at things in the market. As much as I look at it with respect to bonds, he looks at a ton of things with respect to general market stuff. Now, this is very interesting information. As we dig into this, it talks about the jobs report, this massive amount of jobs that came out that really impacted the mortgage-backed securities, has a huge impact on inflation. The Fed's going to just continue to tighten because, quite frankly, they got to destroy jobs in reality to get inflation under control. The more people that have money, the more to buy stuff. We still have supply chain issues in certain sectors. As a result of it, it pushes those costs up. Therefore, we have an issue with inflation. Now, look at this. If you look at this chart, this shows you, damn it, the 2-year, and I don't know how I did this. Let me keep playing with it. Okay, I think I figured it out. Yeah, there we go. Just shows you the 2-year treasury. Shows you where we are right now. This goes all the way back to 2005, 2006. We see here, even 2007. We're all the way back to 2007 in this. Everything sits there, all quantitative easing. Right here, this goes along with my charts. Look at this, 2018. This is where it follows the chart that I have to show you with the bonds on the mortgage-backed securities. With us being exactly where we were before, it shows all our pricing. Everything that we're going to look at model-wise, we should look back at 2007, 2006, that range for what our rates will probably look like. So let's go into the screen that I've been showing you guys all along. This goes all the way back to 2008. And because I can't go back any further, I wish I could. So this is our pricing model today. This is where the security prices out at for mortgages. This is the universal mortgage-backed security, the 5.5 coupon. Now, 5.5, because whoever invests in it, that's what they're getting back in return, 5.5%. And then there's anything you're paying above that is going to all the other stuff. And there's fees in there that's going to the government. The Federal Housing Finance Agency is collecting a significant amount on these things. So other tax that we're paying, but we get to do it one-time tax for a 30-year instrument that you never even pay back. Even if you paid it for the full 30 years, paid the entire principal and interest for the entire 30 years, you never pay it back. If you don't understand that concept, we need to talk verbally. I'll give you all the data. So right here, 2008, this is where the intersection of where we had the quantitative easing that was announced right here. All of this, if you saw that 2007, all that area that's referencing 2018, where I talked about, showed that peak in that chart right here. Same peak, just inverted, right? And then you get here where they announced quantitative tightening and everything fell off at that point. Now let's zoom in a bit here. This would be interesting here to look at. Now this zoom in, can look at this kind of like, if you've ever skipped a rock on a pond or a lake or whichever, when you toss that rock, it comes in, it hits hard in and then bounces out a little bit deep, not as deep the next time it bounces, not as deep the next time it bounces, then it kind of fades into it. There's different ways they reference this in the markets, but that's where we're fading into a lower position here, which is going to mirror back to 2007, 2006, those interest rates we had back then. And then we're going to get into this area where we're probably going to see some other bouncing around in here. Now, what's interesting about that time, if you go back to 1997, when I got in the industry, interest rates were above 7%, probably in the high 8s. They worked their way down into actually in the low 8s, worked their way down to the 7s. I worked for a year doing 2 jobs. I'd get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, be to the yard by 4, be done with the dig that I had because I was running heavy equipment by noon or 1, be the office by 2 or 3, and work till 10 p.m. every day for a year. I slept 4 hours a night for a year. And then the rates, owner-occupied rates, went below 7%, 6.875. I worked one weekend and collected enough applications and new refinances I was able to lock to replace my income. Prayerfully went about this release of the other job, go full-time into this, and I never looked back. And that's because we went below 7% on the owner-occupied refis, purchases, that kind of stuff. And that sustained me as I continued to build my business. Now, it got higher than that, lower than that. When I locked my very first purchase, mine, where I bought my first house in 2000, if I remember correctly, 1999 or 2000, the interest rate I had 7.125%. It was higher than it was when I was able to get into the mortgages full time in 1998. It bounced around in there. Sometimes it got higher, sometimes it got lower. So when you get to further into 2007, I remember locking people 2006, 2007 interest rates in the high 7s, low 8s for real estate investors. There's been plenty of real estate investors we did in the 9s during the 2000s. That's where we're going. Anybody tells you different than that, their memory is either not there, my opinion, or they haven't been around long enough. If you're working with a loan originator, somebody who's professes to be in my role that has not been in this since the 2000s, step away from that some bitch. I'm not trying to take business from that guy, but he doesn't know what he's talking about. Let him do owner-occupied crap. Do not trust your investment deal to somebody who's personally not been in this for these cycles. This is not a time to go into somebody who's just going to quote you something cheap or say, we're going to do a free refi, or we're going to do a float down. Float down into what? The market's going up. Float downs are complete jerk off shiny bullshit. Now, we have some options out there we can talk about, but I don't pitch that because it's crap. Now, let's sit down. Let's talk about where the rates are going. Let's talk about the strategy. Let's talk about the best way to look at this stuff and get out of your own damn head. Talk to you guys on Tuesday.